Hello everyone, Shirley here, and today we're going to look at the worst boss in recent Mythic raiding history, I think. Zskarn, on the Arms Warrior. This one should have been out like 2 weeks ago, but I just did not want to think about this boss after killing it, so forgive me for the delay on that. But anyway, jumping in on the poll here, we're going to go ahead and pull the boss off to the right side. This is obviously all post, cheese, nerf strategy stuff. We're playing standard single targets, even with the golems coming up later on in the fight. We're going to be holding our second Colossus Smash here for just a second, so I can Sweeping Strikes it onto this first golem that's always going to spawn in this corner here. And I do get the line debuff, so making sure not to jump out too fast from that tactical destruction. And clipping anybody with that. And then we're going to rotate all the way to the other side of the room here and fight the camera boss as the next knockback goes out. Speaking of which, every time we're in a good position to line yourself up with the wall for those knockbacks, it's pretty good to do that, just because these lines going out can be so random later on in the fight where people decide to move, especially during tactical destructions. That, yeah, you can use the knockback to charge in as a warrior for free rage, and, I still look for those opportunities where it's applicable, but a lot of times it's too dangerous, so right here, I realized I was going to take a tick of the trap dot there anyway, so I planned for that with parry and spell reflect. That second trap right here that spawned in between us and purple, that was not planned. And that's where this boss just kind of starts to fall apart from a design perspective. It's way too random a lot of times with debuffs, the trap spawns, and just how you have to move and baiting these tactical destructions. So I get the embers here on me during this tactical destruction while we need to go kill all these, golem ads. This is an awful position, and you just really got to watch the arrows and make sure you're, it's going to be really close, but, try not to clip anybody else's lines because it's just going to instantly kill you. And then we're going to fan out and finish off the rest of these golems while avoiding any of the traps around the room, or the bombs rather, and pulling the boss back to this front left side of the room here as much as we can, and we're just progressively filling up this corner and working, kind of diagonally back across the boss room is our general strategy. Trying to avoid any of these trap spawns as we can here. You can see them for just a brief moment before they actually spawn, so don't be afraid to, back off the boss if you see that happening, which I believe is going to happen right here. Spreading out for these beams. Whoever was on the right side with that beam there did a really good job making it wide, because melee has so little room to work with later on in this boss fight. And generally, I would say, if you're progressing this still, you want these beams to be on the sides of the boss and leave kind of a gap in the middle if you can. Right here is where, I saw the trap spawning as well, so we're going to go ahead and jump off the boss and not worry about, boss damage, because the trap dot is just an obscene amount of damage. And now we're going to work our way back around from this tactical destruction, cleaving down all of these golems, and we hit 35% right as Avatar, and all my cooldowns come back up. Unfortunately, we didn't get to clip any of those golems with Thunderous Roar that time around, but the previous one, or the first one in the boss encounter, I'm going to try and clip as many of those golems with Thunderous Roar as I can. But otherwise, here we're just, full execute mode for the final burn. As we run out of room, things can get pretty dicey. Obviously, avoiding the beams is paramount, but if you do have to stand in their little circle that ticks dot damage around them, that's not the end of the world, especially if, multiple melee end up getting the embers on them. You'll probably be standing in one of those, and, as long as you're not getting too low, it's not the end of the world. This is a great example of beams right here, though, having them on either side, 2 and 2. That's a great way to spread them out. Down to below 20% here, we got a bait on the purple marker, and that's for the tactical destruction, so I'm going to run back off the boss there for just a second, right before that cast goes off, just to make sure it's baited there. And this is where it's really dangerous during this tactical destruction. All the golems, I've got a line, we all spread out, we're going to interrupt these golems, and leap back over the trap and pray that you don't get a dot stack. And I was just really worried that I was going to lose my Juggernaut stacks there, so we luckily didn't. Get back on the boss, continue to execute as we get lower and lower, avoiding these bombs that are going out. and using this blast wave to get some free rage back. Almost hit that bomb behind me on the left. Definitely want to be, mindful of where those things are getting chucked out at during the execute phase. And yeah, down goes Zskarn, and this awful, awful boss. Basically, I'd say most of your progression wipes is literally going to come down to random trap placement. And there's not a whole lot you can do about it. You just keep powering through until you get the perfect pull. Is about the way it works out. But anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. We're already past Magmarax and all that jazz, so hopefully I'll have that one out for you pretty soon. It's a pretty easy boss. But anyway, peace.